And then another tool that I have that is so much fun is this bamboo reed sketching pen. And it's a very primitive tool. I sort of feel like a Neanderthal when I'm drawing with it. This one's ridiculously large. They actually come a lot smaller. I don't know why I have such a big one. But anyway, the size doesn't matter. What matters is that it's a really fun tool because it's unpredictable, because you never really know what kind of line you're going to get out of it. And I just love that inherent variation that comes with this tool. So we have that. And the brushes that I happen to like a lot are these sumi brushes. A lot of people I know use watercolor brushes for ink drawing, and that's fine. If that works for you, that's great. But I happen to really like the sumi brushes for ink drawing and for watercolor because they have a little bit more body, but you can also do super detailed, tight stuff. And I just feel like with a watercolor brush, the shape is usually so well defined that the brush has a certain amount of stiffness to it that I don't like very much. And you'll see with the sumi brush, it's very beefy, but then you can also bring it to a very, very thin point if you want. So that works out really, really well. And then we're just going to use straightforward India ink. You should always have a big cup of water because you're going to want to clean your brushes and stuff like that. And I'm also going to demonstrate to you guys how to mix your gradients in advance, because that's something a lot of people don't do, but actually will save you a ton of time later on in the painting process. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to show you guys how to actually mix the gradients first. Oh, and this is the most important thing. This is a really silly tool, but I always have a scrap sheet of paper nearby, because you'll see with my technique that a big part of the process is actually working the ink out of the pen or the brush, because oftentimes there's too much. And so I always have a scrap sheet of paper nearby, so that way I can do stuff like that. Okay, so my recommendation for you guys, I always get these little condiment cup containers. They're really handy. I mean, you could just go to a salad bar and steal like four. Like, I'm not advocating stealing. I'm just saying that they're really accessible and easy, and they're just the right size, in my opinion. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to fill up one jar like this so that it's pure India ink, okay? Now what you're going to do for the second one is you're going to take your India ink and you're going to put a little bit of India ink. You don't need a huge amount. A little bit goes a very, very long way. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to pour some water in it, not a huge amount, okay? So now I have straight black ink here, straight black ink with a little touch of water in there. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this mixture and I'm going to put a little bit of this one in there like that. And I'm going to add more water this time. Does everybody see where this is going? So basically what you're doing is you're taking the mixtures, and with every mixture, you're adding just a little bit more water. But the closer you get to the very light gradients, the more water you want to add. So for this fourth cup, I'm going to pour in a little bit like that. And now I'm going to put in a lot of water, because if I don't put in enough, they're going to be too similar to each other, just like that. Okay. And now I'm going to put just a little bit of ink in this one. And this is going to be a lot of water. So that might actually be my lightest gradient. Okay. So you can mix as many as you want. I sort of feel like 5 is enough, because then they start to all look the same. But what I do think is important for you guys to do, though, is to test the gradients. And this is the thing that a lot of people don't do. So I'm just going to move these over here on the side. And sometimes I number them because I get confused about which gradient is which. So let's do this. I'm just going to take my sumi brush and I'm going to test out the lightest gradient first. So let's see, that's my lightest gray. Okay, that's good. The lightest gray, you should barely see it. I'm guessing you guys probably can't see it, which is fine. That's exactly the way it's supposed to be. Okay, now let's go to the next gradient. Okay, now you can see they're pretty similar. You don't really want them to be that similar to each other. So actually what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pour a little bit of the darker gradient from before into this one just to adjust it a little bit. Because the idea is that if you do a good job with this, you end up with gradients that all look a little bit different. Okay, so that's number 2. Let me go back and put in the other one. Okay, so now you can see number 2, which is right here. It's a little bit darker. Now let's do gradient number 3, like that. Okay, so that's pretty good. And let's do number 4, which is like that. Okay, and then straight black, which is like that. Okay, so I would say if I critique my gradients, this one probably could be a little bit darker, but I'm not super worried about it as long as you can see a range. This is the important thing for you guys to be able to see. So if you guys look at this, now I have 5 gradients, and eventually they are going to get all mixed up. That's going to happen. After you've been drawing for a little while, you do have to start from scratch, but this is a good way to get started. Okay, let's start out by doing some quick sketches, and I am not warmed up at all. I've been setting up things all morning, and so what I think I need to do is just do some quick 5-minute sketches of the people. So I think what I'm going to do is just do like maybe 3 on a page, do some little ones so I can really warm up, and then we'll get into some poses that are a little bit longer. Okay, let's see. We got a lot of people in here. Slepneer says, I've used gradients, helps to get something down before you refine it. Annie says, I work in a carpeted workspace. I usually use poster tack to anchor my ink wells down. Yeah, that's a really good tip. Actually, what Kat Huang does is if she has something like this, she'll actually take like some tape and just tape it down to the paper like that. Because, oh wow, you can get a really bad spill, which is really traumatic. I don't tend to care so much because I'm sketching right now, but that is a nice little trick that you guys can do if you would like to. Okay, so let's get started. And the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to just do a couple sketches in a row, and then I'll pause and take a break and look at the comments. So if you guys have questions, anything you're noticing, I love it when you guys tell me how much you're learning. I will take a look at that in between the drawings. Okay, let's get into it. So let me pop up the first image, which I believe is this guy who seems pretty happy, cradling his his little mask. Okay, I'm gonna start with the lightest gradient. So here, let me put it up here so you guys can see a little bit what my process is. Okay, you ready to go? Let's start the timer at 5 minutes. Okay. Wow, this guy, the people, oh, what is this? Why do I have pink on that? I think this is like pink ink, which is like left over from like an old drawing or something. That's so weird. Let me just, okay, there we go. So you guys will find that I will do this a lot where I just sort of play with the marks up here. You can see how unpredictable this really is. That's already a little bit on the dark side. Okay, let's try this. So I'm going to put him all the way down here. This is a little bit darker than I would like it to be, but you know, I don't care right now because I have not drawn all day, guys. Ooh, that looks horrible. And right now, I just want to warm up, and I have not sketched with one of these for a long time, so I'm also really out of shape there. Because I do find that you do need to be warmed up, and I'm so not warmed up right now. A great hand gesture down here at the bottom. And right now, I'm not going to bother with the sumi brush because I think there just isn't enough time for me to do that. Instead, what I'm going to do is just push through all of the basics and make a horrible mess because that's what you got to do. It's almost like you have to fulfill your quota of making a mess. And if you do that, then you feel like it's okay to move on afterwards. So here I am doing my required mess of a drawing just to get started. One artist who I think you guys will find I look a lot at is Giacometti, especially for his drawing. So if you guys don't know who Giacometti is, look him up because I really look at his drawings quite a bit. He's much better known as a sculptor, but I happen to like his paintings and his drawings more than his sculpture, even though that's what he's really well known for. your paper towel is a really good tool as well, especially when you don't have a huge amount of time and you're just playing around like that. Okay. Yeah, who here has seen this episode, by the way? Let me know in the chat if you guys have watched this episode, because my goodness, these vile children. Well, they're adult children. They're adult children of this man who is dying, and in the episode, he gives them all these masks that they're supposed to wear, and then, of course, there's this horrible, scary ending that I'm not going to spoil for you guys later, but if you want to draw along with me, it's got some great visuals. So take a look at this episode. It's on Netflix, so you guys can see how things are going. Okay, I really did not think clearly when I put down this hand, so now it's a total mess. And I got way too dark, way too fast. This is my major issue. I know I have this problem because whenever I work with watercolor, see, I'm doing it right now. Whenever I work with watercolor or anything that's ink, I really, really like darks. And so I get very excited, like I am right now, about putting in big areas of ink, and then I completely cover everything up and it looks really bad. See, I already can tell that I'm doing that. Now it's too late, so I'm just gonna give in to the crappiness, but that's okay, that's fine. And you guys, don't think about the paper towel as just being something to clean with. Like, you're noticing that I'm dabbing my drawing with it quite a bit, and I am not just using it here to clean things up. Okay, I already have really messed this up big time, and I still got a minute, but see, I already went too far. Not good, guys. This is not a good look for me. Okay, at the very least, okay, let's just work on these fingers down here at the bottom so you guys can see a little bit more. And now I'm feeling cramped. Like, I really should not have, I should have just made it bigger, because I can feel myself starting to get a little bit tight because I didn't let myself work bigger. I really do think scaling's important, guys. Okay, got 32 seconds. Good. I'm already sick of this drawing. Like, good reason to be moving on. Let's at least, he's got like a little bit of hair at the top. And actually, let's just block that in. Ugh, crap. Why did I do that? Okay, good. Thank goodness this drawing is ending. I want it to be over now. That's a good thing about these short poses. You know that they're not going to last that much longer, even if you like really don't like them. Okay, there we go. There's my first sketch. So let's move on to the next image. I'll do another one. So we have this creepy lady with her nice little pearl necklace, and she also has this wonderful mask that she's holding. So let me start the timer again. Let's do 5 minutes, but let me draw a little bit bigger this time, so that way I can maybe spread out a little bit more. Okay, so this time, I promise, not gonna get too dark too soon. I'm gonna really, really try, even though I'm totally gonna do it anyway. Okay, so let's see. She's sort of, okay, let's put the face here. So I gotta get sort of like the relationship of her to her mask, because in the episode they do talk about the relationship and how these masks were chosen by the father for particular reasons based on the traits, and then at the end there's a big reveal. So if you don't want this to be spoiled, don't watch the second half of the stream, because I have a lot of images that are going to spoil the stream for you. Okay, so she's got a real like tilt that is more, see, I'm looking at this negative space that's in between the mask and her face. The negative space can really help you, and I'm trying to figure out the scale relationships, because then I put her hand, okay, so I put her hand up here. Her hand should actually be all the way down here. Is that right? Okay, so let's put the hand, and then the wrist of the hand, the pearl necklace is here. Let's dab that a little bit more. I think I made the mask too small. Yeah, I did. Okay, so the mask should be, maybe the hand. Okay, I put the hands way too high. That's the issue. So let's go in, and I guess the hand is more like here, and then that makes the mask more like that. Okay, so that defines that a little bit better. And she's got this big head of hair. So let me block that in at the very least, just to get in like the mass, so I can organize that a little bit better. She's got a widow's peak and the ear. I know her face is not that wide, but I just want to block in real basic marks for where things are supposed to be. Okay, and the mouth, I just want to put in the crease of the lip. Oh man, did I just like not draw her neck? Crap. Okay, let's give her neck. I think I was dazzled by the pearl necklace, and so I was not thinking about the neck very much. Oh shoot, I only have 2 minutes. I think I'm dragging big time. Okay, we have to do something that doesn't look so pathetic. Okay, here we go. Like that. But I'm holding back, guys. I really am. Like, part of me wants to just go in here and block in black, but I'm really trying hard not to do that because it's a really bad habit that I have. Okay, let's just get in the mask a little bit more. Shoot, is the hand? Wait, no. Oh, that's the lip. Okay. It's all a series of revelations. Have you guys noticed this? Okay, let's just get in a couple of darker areas. So I'm going to switch to like a darker material. And maybe up here, at the very least, just a little bit more of an indication of the features. I want to get the contour of her face a little better, but the mask is really important. I feel like in some ways the mask matters more than her face does. So I'm going to really try to pay attention to, like, God, this big nostril. Shoot, now everything's getting really wet. Okay, that's where your paper towel can do wonders for you when things are getting way too dark. Okay, now it's bleeding everywhere. That's okay. It's just a sketch. I'm just trying to play around. I already feel like I'm getting a little picky. But at the very least, I just want to make marks. Just put them on a page. That's really all you need right now. Okay, now I'm getting to... Oh, shoot, I only have 1 minute? Okay, okay, let's move. I am not... Okay, this is not where I wanted it to be. I swear. I was like, this time, I'm going to do... terrible. Okay, here we go. Let's whip out the brush because this is driving me crazy. Okay, you'll see me do this a lot where I try to work the ink out of the brush, try to make something a little bit more, a little bit less wet. So let's just go in and just block in some strokes. Maybe even back here, some of the negative space could be helpful, like this. Yeah, like especially the negative space behind the mask, I think is going to be very helpful to block in. Just something like this. There we go. Okay, that really feels like a mess. That's okay. It's fine. I can do this. Okay. Let's see. At the very least, let me just get in some eyes so she doesn't look so totally blank. She's got pretty dramatic eyebrows. What? Are you serious? Oh my God, not even close. Okay, that looks so bad. Okay, guys, let's take a look and see what you guys are saying in the chat, and then I'll move on and do some more things. Okay, Karen is saying your movements are so much more linear and decided with that bamboo thing. It's very interesting to watch. And Ularm is saying this gives a wood-cutting look to the drawings. Well, as a printmaker, I can't help myself, right? Let's see. Kat is saying, are you dipping only the tip of the bamboo stick? Oh yeah, I should show you guys how I do that. So basically what I just do with the pen, I just do this. That's it. I mean, it's very caveman-like. There's nothing very specific about it. I mean, I like that it's sort of a mess because if you guys see this, it's like the strokes you make, sometimes they're very clear and other times they're not. And so I really enjoy playing around with it that much. Alyssa saying, I just started watching the Twilight Zone for the first time a few weeks ago. Haven't gotten to this episode yet. It's good. It's one of the top episodes of the Twilight Zone. That's one of the reasons I chose it, but also because it's got great visuals with the masks that are going on. Karen is asking, have you prepared the paper with water before? I didn't see the beginning. This is just Bristol board. I'm not doing anything because it's just sketching. I mean, if I wasn't such a cheapskate, I would be using watercolor paper, but I feel like watercolor paper is so nice and I don't want to waste crummy sketches on nice, expensive watercolor paper, but Bristol board is sturdy enough that it's not going to fall apart. because the thing about ink is you do have to use fairly good quality paper. Like some of the other streams, I was just drawing on copy paper with brush pens and that was fine. This is not fine because it's going to get wet. So you do need to have paper that's a little bit more sturdy. Let's see. Bamboo pen. All the materials are in the description in the video. Exactly. Thank you, Paige. So if you guys go down to the video description, you'll see that I've listed the names and links for all of the materials. So if you guys want to check those out, you definitely can. Slupnir is saying, so are you dry brushing? Yep, I will be doing more of that later. The dry brushing takes longer and I can't do it in a 5-minute pose, but I will demonstrate how to do that. Tony is saying, happy to be watching from Bulgaria. Wow, cool. I don't know that I've ever seen somebody here from Bulgaria. I was thinking you should do something with ink the other day, and here you are. Well, look at that. Looks like you got into my brain, Tony. So very cool. All right. I feel totally mortified by how bad these are. So let's start drawing again so I can get over it. Okay, this time let's do one image for the whole page because I felt really crammed when I was doing this. So let me do a 10-minute pose because I feel like I'm going to be able to get further along in the process. Okay. Brenda is saying, did you already cover what it is you're using to draw? I've never seen it before. Well, for those of you guys who just joined, let me just show you really briefly the materials that I'm using. So we have Bristol board, shop towels or paper towels, India ink, the bamboo pen, and the sumi brush. Super fun and really cool. Okay, let's go back and, okay, we did this lady. So, okay, now let's do the lady in huge distress. She's very upset here. So this seems like this will be a really fun one to do. Okay, let's pull up my images. And again, you guys, send me your observations. What do you see me doing? Because I think one of the coolest things about these streams is that you guys can teach each other. So when you guys notice something about the way I hold my pen, about the way that I move in my drawing lessons, that's super helpful. So anything you guys are picking up on that you go, hey, you know what? I never seen that before, or that's really different than what I normally do. You guys are teaching each other when you put in those comments. So please jump in and let me know what you're seeing. Okay, let's take a look at this one. So let's start with a 10-minute pose. Okay, here we go. So this one I'm going to also do with a bamboo reed pen. And you know, I'm going to put this here. That way you guys can see me actually like dipping it in. Okay, let me just make sure that I actually like size this well. So if this is the top of the page, okay, let's say, I do want to get in her arms. So maybe if I make the mask like that big, that'll give me space, hopefully, to put in down here the arms. It's weird, like this mask is so long that it's a little bit funny looking in terms of the proportions, which is exactly what makes it so cool, in my opinion. Okay, let's see. I think that's all right. But she also has a big mass of hair. So, okay, that does give me enough space. All right, so let's put a big mass up there. Like that. Okay, just like that. Okay, so you guys will see, again, this paper towel, saving grace. Paper towels are really, really helpful. Okay, I already made a lot of this. See, I'm already annoyed that I put that down. Okay, doesn't matter. Let's do it. Okay, the cool thing about this mask episode, though, is that everybody looks so weird that you can't screw up. Because if you draw like regular people, people can bother you about that. But these just are meant to look strange and creepy. So it's sort of, I don't know, I feel sort of like it's my excuse for if things like don't come out so well. Okay. I really want to get the hands. The hands are such an important part of this pose. Now, does everybody notice that even though I'm putting down a lot of marks, a lot of the time I'm just touching the paper? And I know that sounds really silly, but half the time it's like you're just trying to feel physically your way across the surface. And so a lot of it is putting things down, taking it away, putting it back. It's fine. You guys don't have to nail things the first time through. So many people I talk to, it's like they punish themselves. Like they get mad, like, oh my God, I didn't nail it the first time. I'm like, well, nobody does. Like, I can't. Like, if you guys look at Rembrandt's ink drawings, which you should, oh, Rembrandt ink drawings, make me so inspired and pissed. You know why? Because I'm like, Rembrandt, screw you. How can you're so good? You just make the rest of us feel like crap. Can you imagine what it would be like if Rembrandt was like in your class? Oh my god, I'd be so sad. I'd be so jealous and depressed, like all the time. Okay, I'm slowing down. I really should pick up the pace a little bit more. I feel like I'm losing my energy, getting a little distracted from the talking, but that's okay. Okay, there. Okay, that's okay. Shoot. Okay, here we go. See, I'm so annoyed that I made that so dark. I know you guys can barely see it, but that's sort of the whole point. I can barely see it. So those of you who are wondering, I can't see anything, it's because it's supposed to be that way. It really is meant to have that effect. Okay, I just want to block in more structurally because the nose on this is so severe. And this lip, oh, I can't wait to paint in that lip. That lip looks really satisfying. Okay. It's just the bamboo pen, it like gives me a structure that I can work with. The brush is great, but the brush can make me feel very out of control. And so I might just do this on its own first. We'll see. I'm not really sure. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is a little bit of black ink with the bamboo pen, and then maybe if I have time, I'll do some with the brush. But for now, I just want to get in some of these more dramatic strokes. Oh, these are the best nostrils. I just love these. They're so gigantic, and I don't mind making them look terrible because that's sort of the whole point. Like that. By the way, if you guys want to see really masterful ink drawings, in addition to Rembrandt, you know who I really recommend you guys look at? Look at Bill Watterson, the guy that drew Calvin and Hobbes. Like, he honestly, he's to me one of the best ink artists out there. A lot of people, I think, don't realize how good his technique is because they're so busy looking at him as a cartoonist, but he's a brilliant artist in terms of ink. So look at some of his stuff because he's really remarkable. One of the best artists out there, really understood how to use this medium. Crap. Oh, shoot, I think I lost that nose. Maybe I can bring it back. I think I got a little bit too excited about that area. All right. Oh, this is so satisfying. I love putting in dark. It just feels really good. Okay, maybe I can rescue this hand because I'm so not happy with the way that I did this. And maybe, let's put in these pearls because even though I'm not really into putting in tons of details, the pearls are such a big part of this character, and I feel like if I don't put them in, we're gonna miss out a lot on who she really is. And, I might go to the brush for the hair because I sort of feel like that needs more. She's got these delicate fingers. The adult children in this episode that I'm drawing from, they're like the biggest brats. It's awesome. All right, nothing we like more than bratty adult children in the Twilight Zone. Okay, and then I'm gonna get in the thumb because the thumb is really sticking out a lot, like this. And then, ooh, look at all this beautiful. Okay, that's too dark. Let me just dip this, and then. Yeah, I need some more gradients. Okay, let me put some of the gradients here so you guys can see better what it looks like when I'm doing that. Okay, because I really like seeing some of this. And maybe a little bit, see, I got to continue the pearls up here because I feel like if I don't put that in, I'm going to get very confused. Oh shoot, only 3 minutes? I'm like actually starting to sort of like this. It's like you can't win, right? As an artist, everything's working against you all the time. All right. At the very least, I'm not going to get all the details with the clothing, but I do want to just accentuate some of the drapery so we see some of that. Like this. Okay, I gotta do this hand. This hand is really bugging me. I don't think I'm going to have time to actually do the fingers, so I just want to insinuate that they're there. And I got to do these nostrils again. They need to be a lot darker. Something like that. Ooh, that feels good. I like that. You guys ever have certain parts of the drawing, and you're like, I can't wait to draw that part. That one shadow on the lip is going to feel really, really good. That was what that was like. Okay. Maybe a little bit more up here. See, I do want to get, there's like this big shadow up here. Actually, I think I do need to switch to the brush now because I'm going to get really lost otherwise. So this is probably like way sooner than I should be doing this, but I only got 2 minutes left. So let's just get in real quick. Ugh, this brush is too big. Okay, I got to get a smaller one. Here we go. Okay. See, this is when I'm most happy, when I get to put in like black. That feels good. I like that. Okay, here we go. And then maybe some gradients down here. See, this is the dry brushing. So does everybody see right now the marks that I'm making? They are very dry. They're not that wet. I think a lot of people, sometimes they don't like to use ink wash because they're worried about how wet and unpredictable it is. And that's fine. I mean, it's okay if it's like that. But sometimes I think that that can be really compelling as well. Okay, so let me actually get a darker gradient back here. Oh my God, I only have 1 minute. Okay, here we go. Let's just be a little bit up there. And now I can start to like model some of the facial expression because wow, this mask is nasty. She's not nice. Okay, and then sometimes this happens where it just bleeds like crazy, and so that's where your paper towel really comes in handy. This should really be a lot darker, like that. Ooh, shoot, no, I did not want that, no. Okay, that's all right, that'll be fine. All right, I just want to get in, oh yeah, this is all really dark. Okay, this should all come down, like that, and I think this should all come down. And maybe this should have a little bit, oh no, 33 seconds, don't do that. Here we go. Just at the very least, make this so it's not all white because I think that's gonna look really bad. Like that. A couple more strokes. 19 seconds, I can do it. Just a couple more moments up here. Give it a little more structure. Let's see. More dark down here. Oh, wait, right there. Here we go. Okay. All right, let's see what you guys are saying to me in the chat. Let's see. All right, scrolling back up to see what people are doing. Wow, we got people from everywhere. I guess this is the Europe crowd because we have people here from Bulgaria and we also have people from all over the place. Let's see. Thank you very much, John Egenhofer, for the super chat. Really appreciate your support as always. All right. Natalie is saying, so was the first ink watered down? Yes, if you guys go back and you rewatch the beginning of the stream, I demonstrate how to mix your gradients in advance because that is very helpful. So this is what I mixed before, was I tested out these gradients. So that way I knew I had a range. What I might do next time is set up my camera so you guys can see the inks. I can't do it right now, but maybe next time that'll be a little bit easier for you guys to see that. Phoebe says, those shadows remind me of the shadows you'd find in a superhero comic book. You know who's great to look at for that, Phoebe? If you guys don't know, this is sort of an older comic. It's called Sin City by Frank Miller. So let me put this in the chat. So it's Sin City by Frank Miller. I mean, he's not like my favorite comic artist, but I really, really like the way that he does the negative space with black shapes and white shapes. So he's a great person to look at. D. Fitz is saying, any recommendation for videos of artists using ink? I can't think of anybody right now, but in our playlist, we do have a pen and ink wash illustration tutorial that Alex Rowe did. And he does this really cool illustration of sheep in colonial America. So check that out. I'll just put that in the chat right now. So that's pen and ink. Let's see, pen and ink wash illustration tutorial. It's in the illustration tutorials playlist. And Alex is really good at it, so check out what he does. Let's see. Zaria's Palette says, never worked with ink a day in my life. Where do you recommend I start? Start with our art dare, honestly, because the thing that I really like about the art dare is that it's so low commitment. It's like, it's just quick little sketches. Because here's the thing, guys. When it's a quick sketch, does anybody here do this? Where I'm like, it's just a sketch. It's fine if it sucks. Of course it bothers me. But still, it's like you feel like you have an inherent reason for the drawing to not be good. Like, here's one that I did. I did this before the stream. This was when I was just trying to warm up a little bit and figure out what I was doing. So this is like a super small, really crummy version of the one you're seeing here. And now here's one that's a little bit more resolved. So in my opinion, don't start with this. Okay, this is what you do once you've warmed up a little bit. Start with this. Or better yet, you know what was the first drawing I did today? This is going to really impress you guys. This is what I started with. I was like, I just need to put some marks on paper. I don't even care what it looks like. I just need to draw something. So keep it real short, real quick. I think that might be really fun for you guys to do. Karen is saying, how do you suggest using watercolor paper? Read a tutorial, said to completely get the paper into water. Then I fixated it to a board with special tape. It came out all right, but it's elaborate. You don't need to do that, Karen, unless you're doing a really long-term painting where you're really concerned about that. But honestly, guys, that's a huge amount of work. So there's a much better solution. You should buy something called a watercolor block. A watercolor block is so much better. It's stretched for you. So basically all four corners are sealed with glue, and then you paint it, and then it gets all wet and wiggly, but then it dries flat, and then when you take it off, it's perfectly flat. So honestly, the watercolor blocks are a little bit pricier, but that takes care of the stretching for you. I mean, if you're doing like a really long-term gouache painting, I would probably do something like that, or if you're stretching something for oil paint. But for watercolor, it's really not worth it unless it's something you're going to be working on for a really long period of time. Let's see. Wow, we have so many comments here. I'm hoping I can try to get to everybody. Anita Ray is saying, Jim Lee, good, excellent. Oh, wow, we got somebody from Boston, from Argentina. Very cool. I love hearing where you guys are from. And, ooh, struggling sketcher from Prague. Very cool. Okay. CEPRI says, much respect and love from France. Very cool. And Busra says, exactly. Sometimes my best drawings come from sketches I make during class when I'm bored. And John McCoy says, I love the idea of sketching from the Twilight Zone. It's a lot of fun. Big fan. Very cool. All right, guys, let's get started. You know what I want to do, though? I feel like I got sort of tight in this one. So I sort of feel like I want to do a couple really, really fast ones for the next one and then circle back. Because I don't know, I'm just feeling not that loose right now, and I gotta move a little bit more. Okay, let's just do that. So let me get to another page. So why don't I just do those quick little ones? I'm just gonna do a page. Let's just make them 2 minutes. Let's make them like really short because I gotta get my heart moving. It's not happening right now, guys. So, all right, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, this one's actually good because there's two figures on it, so I'll be able to cover a little bit more space. So let me see, I gotta get my images back up, and let's see. All right, Pearl Lady. Okay, I'm just gonna do a page of really, really quick ones. I'm gonna just do them with straight black ink. I find sometimes with the quick poses, if you start to try to do gradients, it's too much. And so you're actually much better off just using straight black ink. Okay, so let's get started. And I'm just gonna plunge in, guys. Let's just do it, okay? I'm not gonna, yeah, I was not warmed up and now I'm so regretting it. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is feeling better. I had to get I dove in to the quick sketches way too fast. And that does happen, you guys. It's okay to go in a different direction. Like if you are feeling like, ugh, this is not working, do something else. So this mask at the bottom you guys are looking at, this is the poor father in the episode who's dying. And his jerk son at the top. I hope my children never end up like this. This will make me very sad. Okay. And you know what? Let's get this guy up here at the top. He's got a great face. Ever wonder what it was like to be one of the people that got to design these masks? I bet it was a really fun job. Okay. Although it's a hard job. I mean, I know people that have worked in sculpture on like an industrial level, and it's hard. It's really a lot of work. Not easy. Oh, already too tight. Shoot. Really should have moved on to the figure by now. So did not do that. And I really wanted to get that hand in, although it is quite blurry, so I might just leave it out. What? 30 seconds? Oh, no. No, 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 no. Okay, I gotta do another one after this. I need to feel redeemed. All right. It's just there's so many, like, yummy folds in these faces. Maybe yummy's not the best word for that. Okay, here's the ear. Yeah, see, in this, you don't have time to think about gradients, so it's just a lot easier if you don't even go there. It's just too difficult. All right, let's do another one. Reset. So the next image we're going to look at is this poor sad lady who is tugging onto her husband, and I'm just going to stick her, let's just put her down here at the bottom. That way you guys can see. Okay. So, love these eyes. So expressive and weird. I love how her hair just like fits into the mask. It's really perfect. See, the key, you guys, is to draw images where people don't have expectations of things looking a certain way. I think that's why portraits are so hard. I think it's because people do have expectations, and if you don't meet them, which you probably will not because everybody has a different idea about what people should look like, I think that's where it's difficult. That's sort of why it's fun to draw something a little bit more fantastical now and then. Like some of you guys I know did drawings from Pan's Labyrinth, and I feel like that must have been a really fun exercise because so many of the images are very fantastical. Oh, she's got great knuckles. See this line of knuckles? Which, by the way, looks like spaghetti in my image, but that's okay. This is just warm-up time. I gotta move my blood a little bit more. Okay. It's a very physical thing. See, you know what's really funny, guys, is after I do these streams, like I'll draw for like an hour or something like that, I want to draw more. I'm like, shoot, that was not enough. I need to do more so I can really redeem myself. Because inevitably what I do is I go back and I look at the drawings. I'm like, oh, this is not good. I did a bad job here. This should be better. Okay. See, I already feel like I'm being a little bolder with this than I was before. I feel like earlier I was sort of hesitating to put in some of the darks. And now I'm sort of feeling like, okay, this is okay. I can do this. Ooh, that's a really cool little bit of skin that's underneath. I think I made the nose a little bit not quite long enough. Okay. All right, let's move on and do a longer one. Let me just check in real quick to see what you guys are saying in the chat. Kenneth is saying, I think you should spend more time on this piece and maybe make a separate video of this piece. I really like how it's coming out. Yeah, I mean, I think it's tricky because inevitably, I think a lot of us feel this way. We start something, oh, I really want to finish it. But it's okay to not finish it. I think it's fine. I think that sometimes you can be seduced by that need to want to finish everything. I mean, I always feel that way. But there is something nice, I think, about how raw some of the images can be. Like, I needed this. I really feel like now when I go and I do a longer piece next, I'm going to know better exactly how to do that. Blue Lightning is saying, where did you find that large bamboo ink pen? You know something? I don't know where I got this. I might have gotten it at the RISD store, but I could be wrong. Honestly, I can't remember, but I'm sure you can find it somewhere. It shouldn't be difficult. Linda is saying, I enjoy the content. First time watching you live. Twilight Zone is one of my favorite series, so this made my day. Cool. Yeah, tell me in the chat, is this the first time you caught us live? Because I love it when we get new people on the stream. It's just really fun. We've been trying to stream at more different times of the day, because I know a lot of the people in Europe were wanting to watch us, but we were always streaming like at 3 a.m. for them. So anyway, Adnerb is saying, what purpose exactly are quick sketches? It's warm-ups. It's like if you want to play a soccer game, you're not going to just start playing the soccer game. You'll probably run around the field a couple times. You might do some stretches, a couple sit-ups. That's what this is. This is me doing my stretches, getting ready to actually play the game. Rainia is saying, do you start with dark places so you have more ink in the pen? I mean, I don't really think about that. I think pretty spontaneously when it comes to the bamboo pen, because here's the thing. The bamboo pen is not predictable. It is never going to make the line that you think it's going to make or want it's going to make. But I think that's really good, because then I tend to embrace the process more instead of stressing about every single little thing. Let's see. John Kyvan says, does it work like watercolor? A little bit. I mean, it's different because it's black and white. So there's that issue, but I like the India ink because it's so powerful. Like India ink to me is like a bomb. It's just really, really bold, and there's nothing like it. It's quite different than watercolor in that sense. Let's see. Kenneth is from India. You should draw the Pearl Lady later. It looks really good with this bamboo pen. Okay, well, maybe I'll think about it. We'll see. Maybe you guys can convince me in the chat. Sometimes peer pressure is very effective. Let's see. Puck Puck says, does the bamboo quill hold a decent amount of ink? It does. I mean, I can tell you that when I've used it in my drawing classes in the past, my students complained a lot about having to dip so often. I'm like, guys, come on. Think about what they did in the 16th century. All those monks, they had to dip pens all day. You guys don't get to complain about this. So I guess compared to a pithograph, which you never have to dip, you do have to do it a lot, but I don't mind. I think that's pretty cool. Oh, wow, we got a lot of first-time people from Canada. Sechmech, Adner, Maxime, very, very cool. Daisy Troop is saying, how do you learn to become more comfortable with ink? Honestly, it's just practice and spending time making a lot of really crummy drawings. Here's the thing, guys, okay? A lot of us, myself included, we get really worked up about, oh, this isn't good, I don't like this. But the thing is, you have to accept that if you want to make good drawings, you have to make bad ones. You have to. This is part of the experience. It's your quota. I mean, maybe you guys should tell yourselves that you have to fulfill your quota of crappy drawings every month. So that way, when you make a crappy drawing, you say, oh, there I am, fulfilling my quota. So maybe that's a good way to be thinking about that. Okay, let's move on. Let's do one that's a little bit longer. Or do you guys want me? Nah, I want to do another one because I feel like I want a fresh image to get going on. Okay, how about this guy? This guy is so weird looking. Hang on a second. Let's see. All right, where did this go? Oh, did I go offline? I think I stopped streaming, but I'm gonna just come in. Let's see. Yeah, I did go offline for a second. All right, am I back? I don't know if I am. I'm back? Okay, good. All right, let's do this sad guy. I feel so bad for him. All right, sorry about that. I think just internet issues. All right, here we go. This sad guy. Let's do 15 minutes because I feel like I need more time to get going. And I'm going to do the lady in the back as well because she's really, really alarmed. Okay, I'm going to just make this a little bit bigger for my purposes so I can see that a little bit more. Okay, so let's get going. All right, for this one, I'm also going to start with the bamboo pen just to work out the basic composition. So let me just make sure I'm getting this so that way you guys can really see everything. Maybe if I put that there. Okay, so let's put him, I think he should maybe go, maybe here. Okay, oh, way too dark, shoot. Maybe I shouldn't use that gradient. Okay, I'm gonna use this gradient instead. I think this one is gonna be a little bit better. Okay, here we go. Thank goodness for those paper towels. Okay. Oh, still too dark. Crap. What am I doing? All right. Let's just start that again. Ooh, he's got really creepy, like tiny, tiny eyes, dude. I'm so sorry. Although you were a jerk to your father in the episode, so it's kind of your fault. Character that I do not feel bad for. It's very satisfying when, people get revenge for terrible behavior. Who here believes in revenge? Tell me this. Because you know that saying they have where they're like, the best revenge is being happy. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm like, the best revenge is revenge. Like, I just want revenge. Like, to me, okay, you guys, here's a fun fact about me. My favorite book in the world is The Count of Monte Cristo. If you guys don't know what The Count of Monte Cristo is, ask somebody in the chat to explain it to you. Because it's just about the best revenge you could ever picture in your entire life. That is my favorite book. So someday, I don't know who it's going to be, but I would love to have some Count of Monte Cristo revenge because, wow, that probably felt really good, Edmond Dantes. Okay, let's get in the... See, I'm getting tight again. Shoot, you know why? Because I looked at that timer and I said, oh, I got 15 minutes. I can take my time, but I shouldn't. I really should not. I need to move. I need to get in. And, oh, too slow. Way, way too slow, Clara. This is not good. Okay, there's quite a bit of stuff down here. It's a little hard to see, but you can see a little bit of his tie down here. And I'm going to find... See this? This is the knuckles. If you guys are drawing hands, the knuckles are the way to go. If you just look at the fingers, you're screwed. Fingers are going to mess you up, and that's what a lot of people do, is they look at that area, they go, oh my god, fingers! What do I do? This is really, really bad. So don't do that. Don't be seduced by that whole area. All right. So this guy needs way more work, but I definitely want to put the lady in here in the background because, you know something, guys? One of the best ways to show depth in a space is if you show another person in the scene, and then you can really show the shift of scale. So that's like a really easy, fast trick in terms of really getting the space. Okay, and these are her eyes. She's got crazy fingers. See, these fingers are going to drive me crazy. They already are, but that's all right. Let's just want to indicate her a little bit better. She might be a little bit too small. That's okay. All right, let's tilt this so it's not so crooked. All right, let's get into some of the nitty gritty. I do want to slow down and at the very least sort of get these fingers, because these fingers are big enough and they're prominent enough that I can't really get away with not addressing them, especially in relation to the mouth. Oh, this eye is so creepy. Awesome. By the way, if you guys are drawing along with me, tell me in the chat, because I love it when you guys draw along. I love it when you show me what you're doing. It's like art teacher's dream come true. When you guys are making stuff, not for credit, not because somebody told you to, but because you just want to. That's just a beautiful thing. Okay, here's the knuckles. I think that's way too small. Sheesh. Okay, this hand should come down here, and then that puts that all the way down there, right? Yeah, it does. Okay, let's move that out of the way. And okay, good. Oh, still have 10 minutes. It's good though. I mean, I know some people are like, well, doesn't that stress you out? It does, but it's like I need that. I need that kick in the pants to get things going, because if I don't, I get lazy, which I was yesterday, and I really was so mad at myself. I woke up at like 10, which is so late. Like, I really have so many things that I need to be doing before 10 o'clock. All right. Sad guy. I feel so bad for you. He's got like these really stubby fingers too. Like, they are not very flattering fingers. All right. Maybe a little bit of an indication of the forehead. I gotta go back to the lady. I'm not spending enough time on her. So, it's a little hard to see. See, this is why I don't like photographs, because some of these areas in real life, I would be able to get the information to articulate something, but in the photo, it's just not there. It's just black. So that's where I think things become very problematic. Okay, let's do some work with the bamboo, not the bamboo, the sumi brush, because I feel like there's a lot of gray tones that I need to establish. So let me just do, see, this is where you guys should have like a little sheet of paper. So what I'm trying to do is I just work out and I test it, because like, look at how dark that is. Like maybe that's a gradient I don't want to use and I want to use this one instead. Okay, so have a scrap sheet of paper and a paper towel for when you mess things up. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be bad and I'm going to do black, because I just really need to get this in here. I need the anchor for this, because I feel right now that I've been awfully timid, and that has not been good for me. I feel like I've lost some of that. Okay, and even in the eyes. See, here's where I'm going to leave this here. This is like my scrap piece, and you guys can see here that I'm going to just work out some of the areas, because some of this does need a little bit more attention. And I do have like a really strong grip when I use ink, because it's hard to control. It's not really the easiest thing to do. And so if I can just get something in there that's a little bit more controlled, it does help. Okay, now I'm feeling a little bit more solid. Oh, you poor guy, you have one giant nostril and a little one. That's what you get for being a jerk to your dad. Oh, this feels good. Okay, this is one of those moments. Yum. That feels good. Oh yeah, here we go. There's the lip. And his lip kind of comes down like this. So you'll notice, actually, I think the way for me to nail these fingers is to look at some of the black space that's in between. And here as well. Oh, wow, I really messed up that hand. That is not good. This should be a lot more straight down. And then this comes down. And I gotta be bolder, because this is just a really large black shape like that. Okay, let's move that out of the way. Shoot. All right. See, here's the thing. It's like, this black doesn't look great, but it makes me feel more solid. I feel like there's actually something there for me to be working with. And so if that helps you guys, then do it. I know for some people it's scary to do the black this early, but it makes me feel a little bit more confident about the process. So that can be very helpful. Plus, oh, I just love these brushes. I haven't painted in so long. It's been sort of a long time. Okay, I just want to get him connected to her, because even if I don't get that far in this process, I do want this to feel like a composition and not just like two random people that are side by side. So I do want to work on maybe like the negative space that's back here, because that negative space connects them, and there's these like books in the back. So I might actually show a little bit of that as well. Let's just get the contour up there. Oh, crap. See, this is where, again, it's like I need this to like work the ink out. And also sometimes like your brush gets into this like weird funky shape and it doesn't look good. So I just use that. Okay, let me slow down a little. And now I'm regretting painting this whole side and now doing this, because now I can't really like touch the paper so much, but that's okay. That's good. That'll keep me nice and loose in the process. Also, I just like dry brush marks. I feel like dry brush marks, they just tend to be a little bit more dramatic. So I like them for that reason. And you know something, I am going to add the shoulder of this person that's back here, because I do think that that's going to help. Okay, here we go. At the very least, I know I only have 4 minutes, but let me just put in her eyes, because that's really, I think, what defines this figure. And actually the nose is also very long. And actually here I'm going to switch back to the bamboo pen, because it's just a little bit hard for me to get in there. And then I can get in some of these more dramatic strokes like this and maybe show a little bit more of the texture of the hair, like that. So if I were to work on this drawing for a long period of time, I would be switching back and forth between the two a lot more. Okay. Ooh, that's very satisfying. Okay, I'm sort of chickening out big time on the fingers, and yes, I feel really ashamed, but that's okay. It's fine. There's so many things. It's like, you know, it's good for you. You know, you should do that, and you still can't do it. It's like, I know if I go jogging today, I'm going to be much healthier and feel a lot better. And yet, why is that so hard to do? I don't know. Like yesterday, I was terrible. Usually I work out every single day. I go for a run. Yesterday, I was so bad. I did not do it. And now I am totally paying the price. I don't know why that is. I feel like art's the same way. It's like, I know I shouldn't be working on certain things, or I should be, and yet it's so hard for me to do still. Okay, let me give her a little more texture. All right, let's go back to this guy. I think he needs some like gray tones. So let me get to a better gradient. See, this is way too wet. See how this is all like puddling all over the place? I feel like I need something a little bit more dry, so I'm just going to work this out. Okay, so definitely on the side of his face, he needs to have, oh shoot, a little bit more of that. It's hard because it's like you want to keep things simple, but you also want to capture the gradients as best as you can, because you can screw with that. Like if you don't get the relationships working out well, it can be difficult to work with. Okay, now this is all very dark. That's all in, oh, this is all in shadow. Okay, this should all just be, okay, let's just fill this in. Okay, here we go, like that. Okay, and this is really messy and washy, but I sort of don't care because this area is supposed to be that way. Okay, and then here, let's just block in some of the shadows. Here especially, like the whole plane is quite dark, like that. See, now it's the point, it's like, it's starting to get really sloppy looking, but that's okay. I mean, you sort of have to go in that direction. So much of this, you guys, it's like controlling the amount of water in your brush is such a big part of it, because sometimes you want a lot of water in your brush, other times you don't. Sometimes you just want a little bit. It can be very confusing what exactly it is you're trying to do. Okay, let's get back in here. I think he needs a little bit more detail in the face. Let's see. Ooh, and this is a great fold. Love that fold. Dude, I'm really sorry. Actually, I'm not. It's your fault that you were a jerk to your father in this episode. This is what you get. All right. Yeah, these knuckles really need a lot of work. See, this is sort of now, I think, it's getting to the point where it's starting to get very messy and stuff is starting to get all over the place. But I think with ink, you sort of have to go through that process after a little while. I think that's pretty important. So it's sort of like this process of you get in there, you make a mess, you go back and you fix it. It's all different types of things. Okay, let's take another look. All right, so maybe more down here. Oh my God, only 27 seconds. I might work on this one again. I'll take a break, see what you guys think. Let me know in the chat if you'd like to see me finish this. Bring it to, well, not finish it, but, you know, bring it to a fuller resolve than what's going on. Oops, why does that keep changing on my thing? Let me just, let's see. There we go. I'll turn that back. Okay. Maybe a little bit more of an indication. The fingers. Okay, so that is 15 minutes. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Okay. Ularm is saying, I'd watch a full stream about negative space. I think there's more to it than just what I think it is. Yep, negative space can be a very powerful tool, but I don't know that people really think about how to apply it. Like, I think it's one thing to know what it is, to say, okay, well, negative space is the space that's around the subject. But sometimes it's helpful to acknowledge, and other times it's not. And so you guys can see here, it's like I did the negative space that was in between the woman and the man, because that helped me figure out their relationship. Whereas the negative space over here on this side, I didn't bother with it because I didn't feel that it was going to help me that much in terms of the space. So I think a lot of it, it's like picking and choosing. It's like prioritizing, saying, okay, well, what part of the negative space is actually going to help me in the context of this piece? Let's see. Evie is drawing along. Greetings from Germany. Very cool. Nairi says, too bad we can't share our crummy sketches in the chat. Well, you can share them with me in the Discord, which, by the way, if you guys are not in the Discord, I would definitely recommend that you join us because it's really fun over there. And you can also tag us on Instagram. So definitely show me what you guys are doing. Basra says they're drawing along. My fingers turned out like sausages, but it's still fun. Well, sausages or loaves of bread, take your pick, whichever one you want it to be. Anna Banana says, I took a Chinese brush painting class. We were taught to really use the shape of the brush to our advantage. It was a really fun and interesting class. Yeah, I'll tell you guys, whoever invented these sumi brushes was so smart, because the range of marks you can get with a sumi brush, it's like 10 times more than what you can get with a watercolor brush. They're hard to control, though. I mean, these almost feel like a slippery fish at first. It's too spontaneous in a way, but it's like if you get to a point where you can harness that spontaneity to your advantage, it can be great. So I really recommend using these sumi brushes if you guys want. Let's see. Do you sell the sketches? Well, I have an announcement tomorrow that you guys are going to just have to wait around for, and let's just say there'll be an opportunity to buy one of these sketches. Well, not buy, to get one of these sketches. I'll tell you guys tomorrow. There's a big announcement that we're going to be making. And Adnerb says, do you think it would improve my drawing ability if I did do warm-up sketches? Absolutely. I mean, I'll tell you, if I am going to start something and I'm not warmed up, I'm not going to do a good job. Like, I always accept, tell me you guys if you think this is true. It's true for me, okay? If I sit down and I say, okay, I'm going to draw in the studio for 3 hours, this is great. My feeling is that the first 30 minutes, it's a throwaway. The first 30 minutes, nothing good ever happens, ever. And so I just say the 30 minutes, whatever I do, doesn't matter. And then that's when you do your warm-up sketches. It's the throwaway time. I think that would be really, really cool. Alexander is saying, what are the advantages of being a patron? Advantages, we have lots of cool prizes and things that you guys can get because we do a monthly giveaway for our Patreon supporters. There's also a Facebook group where you can get critiques, like extensive critiques, not little ones like the quick ones we do on Discord, which are for free. And there's also things like you can get your name in the Patreon top supporters, who we thank every single video. There's lots of cool stuff. So just go down to the video description below. You will see we have a Patreon link. You guys can check that out. Agel Kagel says, does drawing or painting from real life help to improve? Absolutely. It never, ever will hurt you to draw from life. So I think it's really wonderful to draw from life anytime you can. Nairi is saying, I noticed you included the background in the sketch. Is it because you had more time? Not so much, Nairi. That's a great question. The reason I added it was because of the woman in the background. Because if it was just him and I didn't have to think about the space, I probably wouldn't have bothered with it. But the thing is, if I want to draw her, the way to connect her to him is through the negative space. I do in general like to include some of the background, but I think especially here when you have that figure relationship, that's really, really important to do. Damara says, I tried painting from life the other day and I hate it. Mostly because I was fighting with my horrible brushes. You know what? Drawing from life is hard, you guys. It's really hard. Why do you think nobody does it? Because it's so much harder. It has slower results. The results will not be immediate. And yet a lot of people, I think, realize that, wow, if I spend more time and work harder, I do get more results. Because the thing about photos, I mean, this could be a whole other stream, is that it's like instant satisfaction, but you don't get as deep as you could when you draw from life. Bianca is asking, can you just draw with a fountain pen? Absolutely. Yeah, whatever pen you guys want. I like the dip pens because they're really, really helpful, and I just like it feeling a little bit more fluid. I'm not a big micron pen person. I know a lot of people really love those and do great work with those, but those to me feel a little bit too tight. I love the flowing of the ink, which is really cool. Okay, who wants me to spend 10 more minutes on this drawing? And let me know in the chat if you guys would like me to do a little bit more. Let's see how much further we can get with this. Because you know what? Everything I do, I'm like, oh, if I only had 1 more hour, I could have done this. Or I could have ruined it. That's always an option. Slepnir says drawing from life takes time and it's more satisfying. All right, looks like people want 10 more minutes. Okay, let's do that. So let me set the timer, 10 more minutes. So this will be a 25-minute long pose. So I'm actually going to mark that because I'm totally not going to remember later. Let's just write 25 minutes because I think that's handy. Okay, here we go. Let's do 10 more minutes. Let's see how much further we can get this sad, sad guy. All right, I think it's time to whip out the bamboo pen and really start to tackle some of the stuff in the fingers. The fingers are so crucial in here. Now, here's another reason I really like the ink is that you can really do a lot of layering. And that's basically what I'm doing right now is I'm going over areas that already were defined, but I'm giving them more definition this time through. So that way we can start to feel a little bit more of the definition going on in that area. Because it's so blobby to me right now. Like, I don't like how mushy my drawing looks. Like, I need some structure. So I think that's what I'm going to do for now is I'm just going to focus on making this... Oh, shoot. That was way too dark. Crap. Okay, here we go. Let's make that a little bit less. And actually, I should use some lighter gradients right now. Actually, no. See, I like black too much, guys. I really should just get over my whole issue with black, which is that I love it. And it's so satisfying and fun. Okay. Yeah, because he needs way more definition. He's not happening right now. Oh, and the lips for sure. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the bamboo pen and I'm just going to like tighten up a couple of these areas because that's sort of what I feel is missing right now is the brush was good. I mean, the brush definitely gave me some of these gradients that are helping, but they also like made everything so... I don't know, mushy, for lack of a better word. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in and start giving this a little bit more structure. Why does this keep changing? I got to change my webcam settings. Sorry, guys. I'll see if I can figure that out later because I know that the lighting keeps adjusting. I think it's on like auto right now, but I don't have time to fix it right this second. Okay, so here we go. Let's make these less baguette-like because they look like baguettes to me. I mean, in real life, they do. The poor guy does not have the most attractive hands. All right. I shouldn't feel... Wait, whoa, okay, hang on. There's like 5... Wait. How many fingers do we have? That's the... Oh, man, I did not... Okay, hang on. There's like an extra finger here. Wait, 1, 2... Okay, this is not good, guys. Oh, shoot, that is really bad. Okay, so this should not be a hand. This should be the mouth. Okay, we got to go back in and do some fixing. So this is what starts to happen, I think, after a while. You start to realize that, oh, that is not the way it's supposed to look. And that, oh, this is, shoot, did I? All right, that is really bad, guys. This hand should be a lot smaller. I think if I make these a little bit shorter, that might help. Yeah. Oh, I did not do a good job on that. Okay, let's get a little bit more negative space back here. Because he does have this, yeah, especially he's got this like really dramatic watch on, so I feel like I want to get that in there. All right, maybe a little more negative space back here. Get in some of that. Okay, see how far it can go. See, I do want to get in, there's like these little wrinkles in the fingers, and I feel like if anything, I can just get those in there so they look a little bit less sausage-like. I do think you guys, and tell me in the chat what you think about this, I think a lot of the challenge of some of this is like figuring out exactly what to work on because you have to like prioritize things. Like the way I think about it, it's almost like if your house was burning down, which hopefully it is not, what would you take first? Like, what is the most critical thing for you to get out of your house when it's burning down? Hopefully it's not. But if it were, what would you do? So that's what I'm trying to do now, is add more there. I feel like I'm losing the freshness. This happens a lot with ink. It's like, it's really hard to know when to stop. And I do think that you can really easily overwork an ink drawing in a way that I think is different than when you overwork, say, a pencil drawing. And I feel like I am definitely starting to get there right now in terms of overworking it. So I'm trying to keep the freshness of what's happening. All right, fingers are a little bit less scary looking. I need to work on his eyes. They definitely need more volume and maybe a little bit more articulation in this pupil. Let's see. Oh, and you know what? The lady needs something. You see, I still feel a little bit like I'm jumping around too much, but I think that's okay because you have to do that. I think that you have to work the whole piece. A lot of people in the Discord are always asking me questions about what to work on. And honestly, a lot of the time I'm telling people that you can't work on one section and finish it and then work on another section. You have to work on everything together. So you'll see right now I'm jumping back over to the lady in the background because she did not get the love that she's needing. And probably what I'll do is after that dries, I'll go back and work on that a little bit more. But let's go back to these fingers. I'm still not happy with them. They're still bugging me. I guess because they're such a major part of the composition that if I don't get them in there, it's going to bother me. Maybe the nose. The nose is, oh yeah, this needs more. Maybe this like crease. Yeah, it's, see, I feel so like scatterbrained sometimes when I draw because it's like this and then this. What about that? You forgot this. This needs more work. It's sort of like having kids. Like everything's an emergency all the time. Okay. Yeah, the nose needs more. Let's give him a little bit. Just a little touch of a gradient. And then his lip, his upper lip definitely needs more. And I just want to clear up some of the stuff on his lip as well because he's gripping it in this strange, awkward way. All right. And I do want to give the eye a little bit more attention because it is such a major part of this image. Let's do a little bit more of the hair, get some texture in there. Yeah, let's do the hair. The hair definitely needs some work. So let me get my scrap piece of paper, work out some of this, and I'm going to do some dry brushing because he's got this like fuzz of hair at the top. Let's see. Okay. I think we need to go a little darker here. That would be better. See, now I'm getting to the point where I'm like, ugh, I don't know what to work on next. I mean, I do know what to work on next, but I don't. It's also this weird feeling of like, I know I should, I shouldn't. And I do think, you guys, the longer you work on something, the harder it becomes to keep working. Because then a lot of people start saying, oh, well, I like where it is, but I know it's not done, but I don't want to ruin it. And my feeling is that you should always ruin it. Here's why. You can always do another one. And the other issue as well is a lot of people, I'll tell you, they stop too soon. And I'd rather you guys overdo it and kill the piece than to stop prematurely and not explore all of your options. So that would be my recommendation. Okay. Still want to keep the looseness. Oh, and this woman's shoulder. Okay, she needs, see, we need like a little bit of tone back here. And actually, I'm going to go back in and fill back here as well. Shoot, I'm getting a major bleed going on. It does get very messy after a while. This is not really the neatest material. But you know what? You don't have to worry about spray fixative. And that's a big difference, you guys. Okay, maybe some more in here. Yeah, the hands could be a little bit more dramatic. See, if I had the time, I would go in and I would do like each individual knuckle and get like super specific. Probably not gonna have time for that, but it is pretty satisfying. Ooh, 53 seconds. Okay, the hands are too bright, so I need to just give this all like a, oh shoot. No, don't bleed. No, 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 no. Oh shoot. I totally destroyed that. That is not good. Okay, this is starting to get really messy. This is not a good look. That's okay. Oh, crap. See, this is one of those, should have stopped sooner, Clara. I should have stopped like 1 minute ago. It would have looked a lot better, but that's all right. It's fine to do that. Maybe just a little more on her hands. I wish I could spend more time on her because she's just, oh, got a great expression on her face. A couple more moments of the knuckles in here. Let's blend that out a little bit more. All right, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. People are, I see, enjoying my extra finger situation. Someone who has a Chinese name, sorry, I can't read it. Did you intentionally leave out part of the background? That's a really good question, because the thing is, in the still, it's all black, okay? I feel for me that if I go in and I say, oh, color in the background, I'm not really going to be building a space. It's a very silly thing because it's such a small space that I'm doing, but I have to think about the scene spatially. So even though it's the man and the woman, they're in a room and I have to construct that space. So it's like I may not actually be painting it, but I have to think about the space. So I think that is part of that. Let's see. Russian name, sorry, I can't read these names. I wonder what might be the reason for my drawings to look stiff. I mean, they don't look alive most of the time. They don't have any movement. I'm not sure how to change that. Well, you might try doing some gesture drawings. I think that when you only have 2 minutes, you can't be stiff. It's not an option. So I don't know if you're doing short gesture drawings, but I really recommend that you do, because I think that would be a good exercise to just loosen up a lot more. Diless is saying 6 fingers, he would be extra Twilight Zone. That's right. I did that on purpose, right? It was a commentary. Let's see. Anna Banana says, I always tell myself, if I stop working on this, I'll never know what it would look like if I hadn't stopped. That's a great mindset. Yep. I always tell students, I'd rather you go too far than not far enough. Because if you don't go far enough, it's like you're always going to be taking baby steps. You're always going to be almost there. But I don't want to be almost there. I want to just push through and bulldoze through the wall. I think that would be a lot better. Bianca says, if you had more time, would you do the background? I do a little bit more, but it's so much about the figures that I don't think that's something I would really spend that much time on. Maybe I would indicate some of the books that are up here in the corner, but probably not beyond that. Warm is asking, how do I improve? My recommendation for improving is to constantly try new things, try different media, try doing short pieces, try different formats. Experimentation will never hurt you as an artist. It will always help you be more well-rounded and expand your vocabulary. So I would just say, you guys, it's always nice to take a little bit of a vacation from yourself. So if you're an oil painter and that's primarily what you do, pick up a hunk of clay and just sculpt something. Doesn't have to be anything great, but just to have a different experience, I think would be really, really cool. Karen is saying, what do you think about white ink? I think it's fine to use. I probably would not use it, though, unless I really had a lot of time, because I find it to be a distraction when I'm doing these really quick pieces. It's just too many factors to deal with. But one thing I don't like about white ink is I feel like for some people, it can become a crutch where you're using it for everything, when really, if you can just train yourself to be a more efficient painter, you won't need it. And so I think if you're using the white ink as like a crutch or as an eraser, that's probably not such a good thing, but it can have its place. It's just you have to know how to make it work. Oh, it's Michael from my pre-college class. That is so cool. I love it when you guys come back from the past to haunt me. It's like you end the class, you're like, I thought I got rid of you guys, and now you're all here. It's great. Thank you so much for coming, Michael. It's so nice to hear from you. Curran is saying, any ideas on how to get more loose in painting as opposed to trying to create shapes and shadows very rigidly? I think if you want to loosen up in painting, paint with a brush that is bigger than you are comfortable with. Because a lot of people are so obsessed with details and tiny brushes. And honestly, when you're obsessed with details, that's usually when you get really tight. So if you want to loosen up, use a really big brush. Like this brush, this is way too big for me right now for this scale. Like I would not be able to control it. But as an exercise, it would be a great thing for me to try, because then it's like, oh, what do I do with this big clunky thing? You have no choice but to loosen up, which is really, really cool. Damara is saying, yes, I'm a pencil artist, recently tried oil painting. Definitely helps stretch some muscles that don't get used frequently. D. Fitz is saying, have you used only white ink on dark paper? I haven't really done that before. I mean, I've done a lot of drawings where I'll have a black sheet of paper and I'll put white crayon on top. So I do that very often, or maybe with Conte crayon or chalk pastel, that can be very helpful as well. But yeah, I just sort of feel like most of the time when I see people adding white to a black and white material, they're using it as like whiteout. They're not making it a part of the process. And that's where you can go wrong, because oftentimes I have students, I'll assign for them to do a charcoal drawing, and they'll show up and there's like one spot on the drawing, which is like a bluish white. And I know it's that one spot where they added white Conte crayon to cover up an area. And it always really does not look great because it doesn't fit in with the rest of the material. So it's very good if you can take some of that bluish white and put it in a few other areas so it feels a lot more deliberate. Bianca is saying, do you recommend drawing on gray or brown paper? Yeah, I love it. I'll tell you, sometimes white paper can be a problem, especially if I'm drawing with chalk pastels or crayons. I always use a toned paper. I never draw with straight white paper because I feel like there's always that white grain that really gets in the way. So I would really recommend considering that. If you guys made work with me, please tag us on Instagram and use ArtProfDare and join us on Discord. I'm going to be there in a few minutes, so that way I can spend some more time procrastinating from things that I'm supposed to be doing, because you guys are so fun to chat with. Subscribe to our channel and join the ArtProf family. And thank you so much to our wonderful top Patreon supporters who make ArtProf possible. Thank you to everybody for joining me in this live stream and hanging out. I'll see you guys next time.